as we're looking at some beautiful shots of Kingston, Ontario here. It's great for the viewers, not just in Canada, but from around the world, to see such great shots of one of Canada's oldest and proudest towns, Rob.
Yeah, it's great to be here as we get set for the rematch here at Richardson Stadium of the two teams that, of course, met each other not too long ago at the Rugby World Cup 2011 down in New Zealand. We had a walk on the field earlier, and the field in immaculate conditions, and so far both teams undefeated in the Pacific Nations Cup.
It's a pretty good day for rugby weather-wise. We've had some pretty heavy rains over the last couple of days, but it's held off for the last 12 hours. The pitch is drained very well. It's overcast, 17 degrees, a little bit of light wind, but this pitch is ready for some open, expansive running rugby.
Yeah, and a little picture of the crowd here, and filled with red and white, but of course both supporters here. We noticed the amount of Tongan supporters here, which was surprising but wonderful to see, of course.
So Tonga, very similar style to Fiji. As we get prepared for the game, we're going to start looking at the lineups for Tonga. We have Auhalele, Maasi and Vea in the front row. A couple of the danger men in the loose forwards are Tipoli and their captain Ni Latu, and some of their backs there as well. Teoni plays in the Super Leagues and is one of their great subs coming in for Tonga. They've got a fantastic team with players that play in the professional leagues in Japan, in Europe, in Ireland, also in New Zealand.
And the starting lineup for Canada, in the front row, the big man up front. We have Bidens at hooker, Barkwell and Marshall on the locks, Bookaboom, Hodson. We get a look at the reserves here. In the back row, we have Jeb Sinclair and, of course, Aaron Carpenter and John Moonlight, open side flanker. In the back, Sean White to Nathan Hariyama to outside half. In the centers, Nick Blevins, Kieran Hearn, and the back three, Sean Duke at wing, Matt Evans, and James Pritchard.
So the shots of the lineups came and went pretty quickly. We've got a phenomenal lineup for both teams. As we were saying, the Tongan team ply their trade around the world, as do many of the Canadians now. We've got quite a few of the Canadians that play in the professional leagues over in the UK and Europe, as well as some playing in the provincial teams here domestically at home. We're just going to wait for the teams to take the field and take their positions for the national anthems. As we're doing here, what can we expect today, Rob?
Well, both teams play somewhat similar styles. Of course, Tonga known for their physical presence. They want to dominate that point of contact at the breakdown. Canada really just wants to continue their hot streak, continue to do those basic things that they do very well, stay patient, stay focused, and stay confident.
And the standings in the Pacific Nations Cup, of course, there are 5 teams in the tournament. Canada now 2-0 at the top of the table with 8 points. Tonga having beaten Japan. If Canada was to repeat their World Cup victory, 25-20 over Tonga, that would put them in a commanding lead. Tonga obviously wanting to lay down a marker and have that momentum going into a game against Fiji.
Yeah, we talk a little bit about the adjustments that Canada made. They have been playing so well in this tournament so far, but Coach Kieran Crowley making 10 changes in total for this game. Of course, it's like a marathon, so many games in so many days, and Canada having a quick turnover. And they've brought in a larger, heavier pack as we get a look at Tonga coming out on the field here.
That's Nili Latu, the captain. He's been around in top-level rugby for a long time. He's only 31 years of age, but he's been playing and seems to have been captaining Tonga now for about 12 years. It's a phenomenal international record that he has. And he's seen Tonga go from ranked 15th, 16th in the world up to 11th. They've really been on a roll of late. Of course, heartbreak for Canada when they beat France to go into the top 12 at the last World Cup, which took Canada out of the top 12.
Well, and Tonga known for their quick and electric starts. Quick 12 points up on Japan earlier in their first game of the tournament. And as we get a look at the man with 50 caps, Aaron Carpenter, coming out on the field. And a big rise from the crowd. At only 30 years old, seems like he's been playing rugby for Canada forever.
And he's given the honor of coming out on his own to receive that applause. He's the 13th player in Canadian history to reach the 50 cap mark. I was chatting with Al Sharon before the game, who's one of that elite club. And he's incredibly proud of what Carpenter's been doing for Canada, leading the team. great crowd here in Kingston today. 3,000-4,000 people in the stands. It's a portion of the stands here at Richardson that are under a capital project doing some refurbishment, so we don't have as big a crowd as we did last year for a game here. But it's a packed house with all the seats available being taken.
A shot there of the Tongans, focused, ready for the task
Mesdames
at
et
hand as we
messieurs,
listen to
veuillez
their
maintenant vous lever
anthem.
et retirer chapeaux et casquettes pour la présentation des hymnes nationaux de Tonga et du Canada.
Great to see some Tongan flags in the crowd. They've been walking around with Tonga pride signs earlier in the game, and now we're set for the Canadian anthem. An emotional rendition of O Canada there by the Canadian team. Something incredible to be out there on a pitch, whatever the sport, on behalf of your nation. And Canada now getting ready to face the Siputau, which is the Kingdom of Tonga's ritual before each game, similar to we saw in the Fiji game with Ebola. Let's sit back and enjoy this. Great emotion in that, led by their captain, Nili Latu. There's no doubt about it, when teams from this part of the world take the field, they mean business.
Yeah, and as a player, we saw Canada standing up and accepting that challenge. That's got to be the best pep talk you could have as a player, regardless of what side you're on.
So the teams lining up here, Canada playing in red jerseys, playing from left to right on the field in the first half against Tonga in the white strip with the red shorts. And we've got Kurt Morath going to be getting the game underway. Referee JP Doyle from England with his assistants Nick Racono and Gareth Morgan from the USA. JP Morgan, I think, JP Doyle had a good game against Fiji. And he's checking his watch, ready to get the game underway. And taken in there by White. Big early hit by Tonga. And the ball spilled forward in the process, and we're going to get an early attacking scrum for Tonga inside the 22, not what Canada were looking for as a start.
Well, this is what I'm looking forward to, the first set piece of the game, and Canada making these adjustments to come in with a bigger, heavier pack. They actually outweigh slightly Tonga in that front row, and it'll be interesting to see how the Canadians fare. Of course, a dangerous attacking position for the Tongans right in the middle of the field.
You can see they've got attacking lineup on the near side of the pitch with Morath, Piokala and Piotau, and a couple of the real danger men on the far side of the pitch in Helu and Hakalu. Vainakolo also here on the near side.
Touch. Set.
Maua with a put into the scrum. Good solid first piece, and they go on the far side. Moa with a flip inside pass, and this is dangerous with Hakalo coming up in the line. They're just a meter out. They've driven it up over the line. Canada doing a great job holding that up off the line and driving them back. The ball's still available though on the far side, and they're in for a try, and that was the big Lokotui placed for Gloucester and into the corner for the first points, and we're inside the 2 minutes of play, and already Tonga have put a marker down with a first try.
And this was the exact start that they had against Japan a few weeks ago. They strike early. As we watch the replay here, they decide to go on that blind side with a runner cutting back, and that's a fullback, Hakaula. Wonderful leg drive, as we know from the Tongans. They'll be able to reproduce that ball, and again, going the same way, keeping that flow ball. And down for the score in the corner. And if you're Canada right now, that's okay. One little error, nothing to panic about right now.
Difficult. You do want to get settled early, and it's something that your adrenaline's going. You've not yet touched the ball. Knock on in an early phase, and all of a sudden you're 5 points down. You just shake it off. There's 78 minutes to go as we watch Morath lining the kick up.
The Canadians doing so many things well in their previous two games, but when they have made little errors, they have paid for it on the scoreboard. As we see, that conversion goes through to make it 7-0 for Tonga.
So Kurt Morath with the conversion. Canada know they're going to get points on the board, or they'll be confident that they will. So they've just got to, as I say, take a breath, shake that off, get the game restarted here. Kieran Hearn was taking the restarts last week. It looks like he's taking the restart again here. Inside the 22, taken in by the big scrum half Moa up over the 22-meter line. We secure possession. Morath kicks deep, but not to touch. Veteran Pritchard takes it in, runs up towards halfway, flips it on the inside to Hearn. Good release by Hearn, and now we've got White to Hirayama. He offloaded and is taken up over the halfway line. Tonga trying to hold that ball up. And ball taken in and not coming out. And looks like a little bit of afters there. JP Doyle trying to settle people down.
Both teams just feeling each other out in the early part of the game. Of course, emotions high, and there's nothing in that. You see Hodson right in the middle of there, a little smile on his face, and the teams go back on the respectful sides.
Ref here having a conversation with Captain Nili Latu. Not happy with what he saw.
Tonga one. Scrum here, turnover.
No penalty called. And but clearly JP Doyle saw that was a little bit more on the Tongan side in terms of the instigation, and Hodson right in the thick of it. So the adrenaline going, having let some points go early on, that's just getting their team back into the game.
Now we see the intention of Canada. They are going to look to move the ball, but coming into a little high in contact, that point of contact is going to be very important for the Canadians to get low and get support numbers over. Tongans are very big, very physical.
Scrum is in the center of the field. Lower with the put-in. Good hit by both teams, and they go the far side again. A little chip kick over the top. And straight into touch on that occasion. Looking to, that was Moa looking to get Helu to run onto the ball. Maybe they've seen something in the lineup on the far side between Helu and Evans. That was Evans trying to take it quick, but the lineup had been formed, and JP Doyle quite rightly.
And one of the differences Canada's going to see from this game to their last is Tonga does like to kick, and they do have tactical kickers.
And we talked about before the game, they play a very similar style to Fiji and to Samoa, but compared to Fiji, Tonga is a bit more disciplined and a bit more structured in their play. Good take in the line out by Canada. Balls in the back, Carpenter to White. Skip the pass and through the hands to Pritchard. See some space and chips through. Hakalo coming across to take it. Actually, that was Helu across from his wing, and the ball skips out the side and is picked up by Moonlight up over the 22, and the ball had been knocked on in the process.
Well, a nice little heads-up play by John Moonlight. Canada kicking very well. Their kick chase is fantastic. I think they won over 50% of the balls that went up in the air 2 days ago against Fiji, and we see Pritchard here just popping that ball over, finding the space, disciplined kick chase.
Ball ended up actually going to touch off a Tongan player, so we got a Canadian lineup. Barker with his first throw into the line. Carpenter calling the line out play. They go back over the top of Moonlight, but well taken. White to Hirayama. Inside ball, and they bring Duke in from the far wing. Ball's available middle of the park inside the 22, and Canada get a penalty and the ability to put some points on the board, which got to think from this field position they're going to do and try and get Pritchard to put the 3 on the board.
One of the change in lineups was James Pritchard coming into this game. He is a very consistent kicker, of course, with the Cornish Pirates. Second all-time scorer for Canada, and second on the try-scoring list at 13. So this should be a kick he can make with his eyes closed right in front of the sticks.
Hopefully you just haven't made the commentators
no jinx
text. Yeah, it's his 48th cap here today. Very experienced player, as you said. There's some of the changes to the Canadian lineup as we wait for the kick. As you said, there were 10 changes to the starting lineup. We've got 2 players coming in, Hirayama and Duke, who are real sevens specialists. They play a lot for the sevens team. They, leading scorers in the sevens circuit. Richard takes a kick and it's good.
And it'd be really interesting to see these players. They play so well together. The continuity between these guys are so well. And again, as you mentioned, played very well in the IRB 7 circuit, contesting for top scores over the season.
Very good for Canada to reply with points on the board. 7-3, 8 minutes played. Tonga with the restart. Morath goes deep. White takes it inside the 22. Looking for someone to pick it up. Hodson takes charge. He's driven back in the tackle. White's there, sets for a box. Not into touch. Fiaki well taken down by Sean Duke. And now it's kicked through, and Hirayama chasing with Hello going back. Advantage being played. There's an overlap. They just need to get it wide. That's Matt Evans on the far side, but Tonga with a great scramble defense getting over into touch.
And it looked like the Canadian player just pushed out of bounds at the end, but a fantastic play starting in their own end. Sean White taking the ball into contact, and Tyler Hodson having the heads-up play to pick as he knew his scrum half was in. Nice little clearance kick and the big hit by Duke. And Kieran Hearn at 13, chipping that ball ahead, and they're already in Tonga end here.
Tonga with the throw to the line. Taken by Tipole.
One stationary scrum half on, go station.
Here JP Doyle
Over his head.
putting the instructions out there, and box kick by Moa into touch, and with a narrow angle. That was a phenomenal kick to touch there, taking it almost up to the halfway line, Canada, with the throw to the line out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Canada takes their moments to quick tap. And we saw Matt Evans fielding that ball, but he was out on, deciding not to throw it in, deciding for the line out. It'll be interesting to see, will they throw the ball in quick or quick tap when they have opportunities.
Barkwell goes short to Bookaboom.
Line it's over.
It's set for the drive. Ball's in the back, in the hands of Carpenter, and he spins it through to White, looking for the off-look up by Evans. There's numbers here. A good step there by Nick Blevins, starting today, and look at that leg drive up over the 22, and quick ball for Hirayama. Through the hands, we got a couple of the front row out there, and a chip through there by Barkwell, and just into touch. You can often see a hooker with a grubber kick from inside the 22. I think he recognized who was on his outside in Evans, and fancied the ability to win in a foot race.
Yeah, we'll watch the replay here. Marshall, this is a forward set play, and the man in three, Barkwell, having no business kicking that ball in the corner, but it was a lovely strike, and of course coming off the bench and scoring 2 days ago.
Deep to their captain, Ili Latu. The ball's available, it's squirted out. Spun wide to Morath, who's clearing a line. Not directly into touch, but that ball has made it its way up to the 10-meter line. I think Barkwell, in the last game, he scored a try in the second half, what's turned out to be the winning points as he'd come in off the bench. And I think he probably thinks he's a centre now, having been on the score sheet. And so that was him trying to prove to the coach that he should be in the back row and putting a grubber kick through.
It'll be interesting, the line out here, Canada's had two so far, opted to drive both.
Barkwell with the throw, and over the top of Moonlight, and just touched with the fingers as it went through. And knock on is going to give us a scrum to Tonga. So we're talking about some of the changes. How does it change the way that Canada's looking at playing this game? Is there anything about the changes that signal we're going to do it differently, or is the game plan the same?
I think your game plan is the same. Like right now, they've been able to spread the ball wide. They have a little bit more firepower and striking power with those big forwards in the midfield. But what they're doing now, and what they've done so well in the past two games, is sustain pressure and dominate that part of the field, dominate the territory. The ball has only been over once in their defensive end, and they've come away with a score here. So it'll be interesting to see Tonga now on the attack, what their intentions are.
Coach! Touch! Set!
Good hit again by both front rows. Quick ball through the hands. Morath kicking into space. Pritchard has that covered. Just outside his 22. He can't go for touch. Decides to kick it down the line. Hikalo spreads it back to Morath, and again kicking for position, but Matt Evans has gone back. The ball just over his fingertips, but he has time and is going to kick for touch.
It goes out, not forward. Not forward.
You said before that we were going to see a little bit more kicking from Tonga than we did from Fiji, and we're seeing that. Through that exchange, Tonga picked up 20 meters. You've got to say that they won the advantage. They've got the throw into a line out now inside the Canadian half, and that passage of kicking started about 20 meters back.
And in this back line for Tonga, spread out wide, but few forwards right in the middle of the field here.
Taken by Kawenga. They've got some powerful runners there, and that's Nili Latu driving over the top of Ray Barkwell. Through the hands, that was Piatau. Goes back and recovers. Plays now in the Japanese pro leagues. Sean Duke's got to be careful to roll away there, and that was a good hit on Fiiaki, and the ball spilled forward in the process, and we're going to see a Canadian scrum. So Canada strong on defense. Tonga just been a bit lateral with the last 2 or 3 plays, and And you can see that the Canadians are into the game now after being down by 7 points within the first 2 minutes. They put points on the board. They've held their territory well.
It's Tonga ball. It's Tonga ball.
Nili Latu, their captain, as you mentioned, playing in Japan. Dangerous strike runner. And Tonga known for perhaps running in ones, and they were punished a little bit in Japan when they could turn the ball over, something that Canada might take advantage of if they have the ability to isolate those single runners from the men in white.
Seems that there was a call from one of the touch referees, JP Doyle, now reversing it and saying it's Tonga put in. It must have been a Canadian hand that knocked it out of the Tongan player. Looked like a knock on to us.
Touch. Set.
Scrums have been solid on both sides, and Moa just kicks the ball around a bit there. Taken up and rolled into touch by Jeb Sinclair.
Yeah, Sinclair not messing around there, picking that big number 9 up, putting him out of bounds.
Sinclair plays his rugby for London Irish over in the UK, had a good season this year with them, lots of playing minutes. Certainly not afraid to throw a player around. Barkall with the throw. They go to the back and again through the fingers. That's a second throw that hasn't quite gone where it should be. Ball just dropped by Lokotui. No advantage coming. So we're going to see a scrum, a little bit stop-start now. The last few passages of play.
Take a look here. The ball a little bit wet now. The field, a little bit of dew on it. We see both teams a little untidy with that as the game moves on.
You're being kind. That was Barkall missing his man. That's the second line out in a row where he's missed his throw as jumper, so hopefully he'll be back on track moving forward. He's explosive in open play.
Touch. Set.
Tonga with a put in. Canada puts the shove on and picked up off the back by Fiaki, and that was white all over him, and now Moonlight. Canada working hard, and there is a turnover, and Sean Duke with blistering pace. Ball bounces in front of Vainakolo. He takes off but chooses to kick to space, and that's a perfect kick right on the rope in the touch again. And Canada's going to have a throw to the line out, and if I'm sitting on the Tongan side seeing the last couple of throws to the line out, I'd be thinking, let's get this ball deep and compete to the line out, because it's a great way of getting some territory.
Tonga showing their ability to kick the ball and play a territorial game as well.
Captain for Tonga, Nili Latu, is in at first receiver as we see Barkall now. Timeout called.
It looks like the line out just outside the 22, so if it is kicked, of course it can't go out of bounds on the full.
And they go short, and it's taken in by Bukaboon.
In the air.
And taken in the air, not releasing. Wasn't dangerous in that case, but can be quite dangerous if a player is taken when he's up in the air in a line out. So Canada get a penalty. It's only the second penalty of the game, I think. And we see Hirayama kicking up to the halfway line for a throw to the line out.
Well, an earlier back, that was John Moonlight forcing the turnover. They're going to need him to have a big day to be successful and turn that ball over.
Both Moonlight and Sinclair came on as subs in the Fiji game, and both added impact. Good throw again by Barkall and Hodson off the back, and that's taken up by Blevins. White goes on the short side, looks for a snipe, and is taken down hard. Sets the ball back though. Pick and drive by Moonlight. Just in the Tonga side of the field. That was Bukaboon. And Tonga not releasing, and another penalty. This is inside of the range of Pritchard, although sometimes in this case Hearn takes the kicks, and they've called for the posts already. We'll see someone like Pritchard, he takes the ball straight away, he takes control. You were talking about it during the warm-up. He's a veteran, and it shows.
Well, we watched him on the sideline. Of course, he didn't dress for the Fiji game, but he was talking to the players, providing advice when they came off on the field. He is really a leader on this team and someone that everyone looks up to. Canada showing their intention early of attacking that middle part of the field on the line out. We saw a few pick and drive, so I think that'll give them more options to go reverse or open side, and they've had some success bringing that ball back with their forwards.
So 45 meters out, center of the field, to put Canada within one. Distance is there, and it's over for the points. Canada pulled within 1 point at the halfway mark of the first half here, 20 minutes gone.
At the beginning of this game, we talked about Pritchard's consistency, 2 for 2.
Pritchard in his 48th cap, and with an Ireland game coming up and 2 against the US, a Japan game.
He'll move into that.
Illustrious club, and probably going to be number 14 in the club if he stays healthy. Morath with a restart. Built there by Hodgson as he went up and went forward.
Man behind picked up the ball.
Yes, and Rugby Canada gratefully acknowledges the support for this match, PNC game, Lifford Wine and Spirits Agency, Macquarie, Trafigura, and Kuga.
There's really good support from our sponsors here. Rugby Canada really appreciates. They really seem to care and give to the game as well as their financial support. It's great to have some great organisations behind the club. So scrum just outside Canada's 22. They're competing and the balls come out on Canada's side, and they're spinning it from their own 22. A really good quick pass to offload there by Kieran Hearn.
Stop. Thank you.
Taken in by Hakalo. And that's Evans.
No, 13 and 9.
Clearing
Stop.
to touch, and that was an excellent kick, taking the ball up over the halfway line.
Well, in the back there you have Pritchard and Evans working together. Both have played 10 and 15, so both with fantastic boots. Nice little poke from Matt Evans.
Tonga seem to be consistently going with the short line out, 4-man line. They put some of their danger men like Nili Latu and also the big Lokatui sitting in the second and third receiver spot. Taken by Tipoli. Box kick. Evans plenty of time underneath it, but it comes down outside the 22. So Pritchard goes for the Gary O, and that's going to drop down just inside Canada's half, but no one from Tonga was there, and Pritchard takes the ball in as well. Can't believe that Tonga just let that go. Good run up by Marshall. He had a great game against Fiji. Sean Duke. Hirayama. Outside to Pritchard. And a good inside step there by Evans. Canada really showing some attacking intent here. Hirayama again to Marshall. Breaks the first tackle. White to Hirayama. Skip pass to Duke. He's got lots of pace. He's also got some size. Just outside the 22. Canada building the phases. Evans off his wing and a spin pass wide and through the hands, and that's Barkwell on the far side to Pritchard. And Moonlight.
Penalty here. Looked like a lovely passage of play, but the side official saying that Moonlight was offside. It looked very, very close. And the crowd not happy, and we can hear it.
So Canada are a little bit fortunate in the Fiji game with a kick. The runner is in front of the ball at the time that the kick through went. A great offload there. We see Pritchard with a chip kick through and Moonlight judged in front of the kick. Very difficult to tell from that angle. But great attacking play and great vision to do that.
And Canada taking advantage of the Tongans shooting out of the line. They can be somewhat undisciplined, second, third, fourth phase. They do shoot out of the line. Canada having an ability to read that, throw the ball either behind them or over top of them. Great dummy runners as well.
Tonga, this is their fifth line-out. They're 4-0 already. Canada hasn't been able to steal the ball off a line-out, and they've lost 2 of their own out of 4 line-outs themselves. Ma'aisi with the throw, taken again by Kauenga. They keep it in tight. Ball's available. Through the hands, and in the end, Morath held on. A kick through to space. We have Pritchard coming across, but just shepherds that into touch. Outside their 22.
And that's a compliment to the way Canada's defense is organized and the pressure they're putting on. Tonga having no other options but to chip it in the corner.
So 25 minutes gone here in the first half. Tonga, Canada 7 points to 6. The Tongans lead. And Barkwell with a line out just outside their 22. After missing a couple, he's been solid for the last 3, which is great. Hirayama goes for a line break, takes it through the first tackle. That was Big Fehehaki missing the tackle. And White going for a scrub. Moonlight picks it up on the far side. Almost in for a try just a few minutes ago. Canada building the phases in that case. White looking to take it quickly, and he does. And great intent, terrible execution.
Well, I mentioned it earlier. When is Canada going to take that quick tap? And I think Sean White had it spot on. That was perfect timing and unlucky with the hands as we watched the replay here. The heads-up play of White right on the spot, and ball a little slick and little drop here. Will be frustrated Harry Amos. He doesn't make many mistakes, but I'm watching the line out of the Canadian players when it's their ball, and interesting to see how flat they are. Usually they attack with depth, and so you can see they are planning to attack that middle channel with multiple runners, and it's been successful for them so far.
Often when we come into these broadcasts, a lot of our watchers will probably be thinking of the Tongan team as being, you know, this massive players, and some of them certainly are big guys, but you know, the 12, 13 in Tonga, Piukala and Piutau, you know, 5'11", 6'1", both 220 pounds, but Blevins and Hearn, both 6'2", both 220. You know, we match up physically, man for man, across the pitch. In fact, when you look at total height, total weight, Canada a slightly bigger club than Tonga, which I think probably is a bit of a surprise to a lot of people watching.
Touch.
This is Tonga's 7th scrum, which speaks to the fact that there have been a lot of little knock-on and niggles by Canada, and they've got to be careful. That's Piutau, an incredibly strong round, but taken down well by Kieran Hearn. Morath in at scrum half, playing it to Moa in at first receiver. Morath, hands on the floor. This is in a kickable spot. See what Tonga intends to do. Morath checking with his captain, Nili Latu. And it looks like a kicking tee is coming on.
Well, a call against Jason Marshall for hands in the ruck. Unfortunate penalty, but what I do like about what the Canucks are doing right now is they're competing at the breakdown. You saw Kieran Hearn making a lovely tackle on the Tongan player, getting right up to his feet and competing for that ball and not allowing offloads. Tonga is very strong at offloading the ball. Canada has minimized that in the game so far.
One of the things that's going to be part of the dressing room talk at halftime is probably going to be the number of those little knock-ons and forward passes leading to so many Tongan scrums. That first phase ball is so crucial. And Morath with the kick. And he pushed it a little bit right, so a little bit of a let-off there for Canada. Most Canadian rugby fans love watching the South Island teams play, and I know in the World Cup, when we were watching Tonga play France, everyone in the country was cheering for France to win, and it would have put Canada in the top 12 automatic qualification. And it was heartbreak when Tonga beat Canada. It was celebrations for the Tongans beating one of the top 6 clubs in the world in France. A deep restart, but that's straight into touch and a simple error there by Kieran Hearn. Those are the types of things that they can't afford to do. The line-out throw comes all the way back to the 22.
Canada putting a little pressure on themselves there by not clearing that ball out. So we get a break in play here.
They do have an option. They can choose a scrum right on the 22 in the center of the field or a line out. They've chosen the scrum option.
And on the last opportunity they had to do this, of course, they did score. You see the players, most of the backs lined up on this left-hand side with just the fullback and winger on that open side. And that was Moa deciding to go on that blind side last time. Let's see what he does here.
So Hello and Hakalo on the far side lined up, and that was the way they went last time, and it's where they're going again this time. In the hands of Hakalo. Breaks a tackle. This is exactly where they scored a try from last time, but now it's through the hands, and that looks like Nick Blevins taking it up to halfway, and he's Pritchard with a high tackle. Looked like from here the referee doesn't have his arm out at this point. Canada still has the ball. Penalty coming for not rolling away, and a little bit of afters there.
We'll get a shot of the replay. Fantastic by Blevins to read that play. Canada had seen that exact play before. It looked like Fiji Tonga rather had penetrated the line. However, a lovely little turnover and scamper up the sideline and getting the benefit of that penalty. And it looks like they're kicking for the corner, opting to put the pressure on. It's interesting. When do you decide to do this? And Canada saying this is our time, 10 minutes before the half.
What a phenomenal kick by Hirayama, taking it all the way up to the 10-meter line. He had maybe 2 meters worth of the touchline to work with, and a great kick to place it in a phenomenal attacking position. And you'd think that Canada are going to be going for a drive, and they're putting 14 men into the line out here. You don't see this very often. They've got everybody except Hirayama, and it's taken by Hodson. But with so many players, somebody crossed in front of somebody else, which you got to think would have been impossible not to happen in a way. And unfortunately, Canada going for obviously a training ground play, but giving away a penalty. Previous penalty probably just on the very edge of James Pritchard's range. And now players come all the way back up to the halfway line, and Tonga are going to have to throw into the line out.
Yeah, and I like the call by Canada to go for the line out. You have to pick your moments when you want to score, and that seemed to be a good opportunity.
Pretty exciting to see a 14-man line out. You don't see that very often. I've seen it a couple of times in professional rugby, but that was very good. Taken to the front by Kauenga. That's his 3rd or 4th take already from lineouts today. Held in the back.
Once.
Referee already called once. They're going to have to use the ball now. Moa seems to have it at the back to Morath. Skipped past Nili Latu. It's all a bit lateral, but there's some space here. Ball through the hands to Vainakolo. He scored 2 tries against Japan. He really is a danger man. He skips away. Not afraid to run sideways and lateral. Didn't make any yards, but kept the ball for a long time. And Canada going for a counter ruck and driving over the top. Ball's available on the far side. Whistle has gone, and we got some people throwing punches.
8-13. Six.
That's not something you want to see in a rugby game. Referee's going to have to settle this down.
Emotion's very high now.
Step back. Hey. Don't restart. Hey, hold on. No, you don't fucking thing. Over here.
JP Doyle is going to sort this out. He's got to get these teams separated first,
Away you go. Hey.
which is what he's doing now.
And I'd be very surprised if Tonga isn't getting an instigator here, like in hockey, where it looked like there was several big swings by some of those big men on some of the backs. Saw Nate Hirayama there in the middle of it. Canada going to have to refocus.
Teams huddled up
Then
with
play
no
with Burko,
TMO. We got JP
13,
Doyle having a conversation. See if
fighting.
we can listen.
I didn't get the Canadian number who was fighting with him. Okay. Okay, 13 wide. But what I have and what I want to deal with is the number 1. Okay.
So like
He's
he's
going to
talking
go
about
punching after everything I finished. Okay.
Number 1
Alright.
for Tonga.
Okay. Do we have a number for a Canadian player?
Did not get a number for this 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But we don't have that number.
You're listening to the referees having a conversation. He's calling the captains over, Carpenter and Neely Latu.
The players off the ball having a scuffle, and we can deal with that. Well, we can restart the game with penalties and cards. But we cannot have this anymore. hey, excuse me. But what I'm going to absolutely deal with is after everything breaks up, your number 1 comes in and throws a punch on a player. He's going to be red carded. He is going to be red carded.
So it sounds
Number
like a
1.
red card decision there. Let's just see as he goes to his pocket. Calling out the Tongan player, and it is indeed a red card.
And that's what I thought I saw there. Tonga being penalized for that. Of course, it's a hard game and emotions flying, but punches are not acceptable in this great game of rugby.
And as we see, watching a replay here, that's the Tongan player going off, and so he's off for the rest of the game, and there may be a citation afterwards.
Oh, there we go.
And there's just a punch in and a second punch.
Yeah.
And that is Piutau, who plays in Japan.
And there he goes. We see Nate
And
Harry.
we could just see strong forearms. There was a lot of afters, and I think JP Doyle quite rightly saying emotions were flying, and we're not going to deal with it. It was even on the afters, and guys have got to calm down. And hopefully we can get back to playing some rugby. I mean, Canada now going to play the rest of the game with a one-man advantage. So Barkwell with the throw into the line out inside the Tongan. And Carpenter immediately calls for the post, and this would put Canada into a 2-point lead if
Number 4, side of
Pritchard
them all,
can
number 4.
put this over. And it's from a pretty good field position. It's not too far out. It's 15 meters in. You've got to like Pritchard's chances.
This would be a great swing of momentum after the tussle for the Canadians to settle down and take points away here. Pritchard being so accurate and so deadly when the Tongans have made mistakes.
So Tongan have got to reorganize themselves mentally here. They've gone down one of their key strike runners in Piutau. Pritchard to put Canada into the lead. Kick is over and it's good, and that's 9-7 Canada. With a little bit of the stoppage that we've had, we've probably got 5 minutes left in the first half. How critical is it going to be to go into the lead at halftime and really got to get control of this restart? They've spilled 2 restarts so far. They've got to take this ball.
I'd be surprised if they not a clean collection here. Canada maybe 1 or 2 hits up and clear that ball with their strong feet in the backs into the Tongan territory.
Morath with a restart. Kicks it deep. White has it lined up and passes it to his captain Carpenter. They've got to be careful. Hirayama with a step. And a ball on the far side, and a tremendous break there. But spilled at the end, but up into Tongan territory.
Yeah, we see the ball coming out to the backs there, and Nate Hariyama looking for the kick and said, nope, we have a chance. Great heads-up play, great decision-making, and John Moonlight making yet another break.
I may have been incorrect. I called Piutau as the man with the red card, but he's still on the field, so my apologies to Sialihi Piutau for accusing him of that foul play before. And I'm going to have to double-check with someone in the truck as to who it was that was red carded.
A little shot here of Kieran Hearn, a little nicked up, stays in the game. Watch the replay, the fantastic hands, and here's big Moonlight, lovely fend off and doing the right thing, going to deck and looking for support.
So it was one of the front rowers off for the Tongan team as we see a replacement coming on. You've got to have specialties in the front row. You can't scrum down without it. It's too dangerous just to throw anybody in there. And that looked like Sakalia that has come on.
That's not a stopping cup. Catch!
Got confirmation there that it was Aholele that was off.
Sit! Number 9 from behind.
Quick tap trying to be taken, but JP Doyle
Off the mark.
wasn't taken to the right place. A free kick for Wheeling. Taken up by Lokotui. That's Tipole at the halfway line. Morath to Piukala. Up over the halfway line. Morath in the scrum half position, and that's the captain Nialatu, wrapped up strongly by Canada. Kicked through the backfield by Morath. Well taken in.
Now number 5, stop!
Cleared up the field. Canada want to play in the Tongan half. Vainakolo running and spinning, running into Barkwell and then taken down by Marshall. Barkwell slowed him a little. Tipole taken hard by Bukaboom. Canada making their first up hits, and that's Barkwell again. Tonga will keep running. The new guy Sakalia. Canada look like they'll keep hitting. Vainakolo again, and that just tipped off of Sean White and went out, and the referee was playing advantage, so we've got a penalty here.
Yeah, a little offside penalty
Time check,
against the Canadians. It is impressive to see their defense. Men in red right now, very patient on defense, not shooting out in the line.
Checking the time.
But unlucky
Two
to be
minutes.
offside, and Tonga is going to look to put themselves into attacking territory.
So Morath checking with the referee that there was enough time for the line out on the clock left. And I now have proper confirmation that it was number 11, Will Helu of Tonga, who was red carded. Aholele was taken off, substituted. Sorry, Aholele was red carded. And we've got to make way for a front rower, and Helu is the player that's come off to make way, who I now see on the far side of the field. We'll get all of this sorted at half-time, and meanwhile we're back with Maa. AC with a throw into the line out for Tonga, and crossing, consistent call there by JP Doyle. Canada accused of that in the previous one, and Carpenter asking about the time. Hirayama with a penalty, looking to take the ball up towards the halfway line for a throw into the line. Looks like we have about 30 seconds left to play in the first half. We've got Canada 9, Tonga 7.
Canada
Right on the halfway line.
showing that ability to attack from anywhere. Tonga going to have to be alert here.
Go to the back of the line, taken well, and Hirayama skips to Hearn. Breaks the first tackle, takes 2 Tongas to bring him down. And that was Nili Latu coming through, but it's come on the far side with Evans, and he chips it through into the 22. Vainakolo with it, not afraid to run from anywhere, flips it out the back to Helu. Tonga back in possession. And a penalty being called.
Number 12.
Looked like that was Matt Evans coming through quickly and offside. Tonga inside their own half, no time for a line out, so they take a quick tap to their captain Nili Latu in the hands of the big Lokotui. Next play, and it's the end of the first half, and a quick break there by Moa. Advantage being played, and we've got another penalty here. Canada have got to be careful that they're not running up too many penalties. That JP Doyle might be thinking about a warning here for constant infringements, and Tonga decide to kick for touch and go to the dressing room for half time. An interesting half of rugby, 9-7 to Canada, and there a lot of emotion on the field. Tonga were 7 points up with 2 minutes to go. The last 38 minutes, 9-0 to Canada.
Yes, well, both teams coming into the game undefeated. We knew both teams would want this game. This is critical for both to win. We knew it would be exciting, and neither have disappointed so far.
So Tonga have got to improve on discipline, but Canada gave away a lot of scrums, a lot of knock-ons. The penalty count was in Tongan's favour, so they've got to be careful themselves as well here. And I think if they can play the second half the way they did against Fiji, we could see a repeat of the World Cup result of the last time the two teams played.
Yeah, Canada knew coming in, they need to commit to the breakdown. They've done that, perhaps guilty of a few too many mistakes, as you talked about. They're going to want to come to the next 40 and minimize, limit those, and it should be in for a good tilt.
Great crowd here in Kingston, enjoyed that. We're going to throw it to a break, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at the first half highlights. You're watching Canada-Tonga on Sportsnet World. And we're back live now at Richardson Stadium here in Kingston, Canada, just taking the field. Just looking to see if there's any changes in the numbers, and it doesn't look so at half-time. What was Kieran Crowley talking to them about at the halfway time?
Well, I think if you're Coach Kieran Crowley, you're saying keep doing the things well that you are doing well, and those are the basics. Tonga will be down one player, so recycle that ball quickly and continue to dominate the territorial game.
So Tonga with 8 scrums to Canada's 1 in the first half. I think that would have come up a little bit, the number of knock-ons and little spills, little infringements, early engagements that Canada had. Those are the types of things that are just discipline, along with, kicking a 22 drop out into touch. Concentrate, and this game is theirs to win. And we see Kieran Hearn with a restart. Taken behind his back by Kauenga.
Screaming at
Doyle.
every single breakdown. What happens?
I just see it.
Listen, because I've now talked to you, if it happens again with your team, I have to penalise them, okay?
Well, we tried to hear the official JP
And
Doyle. And
no calling.
Having a conversation with the captain straight away. So we look at the Tongan player on the bench.
so the call was a
Tonga,
knock-on, and I
behind,
think he's just
please.
warning Aaron
Here we go,
Carpenter,
Tonga.
saying, watch out
Yeah, all
when you do
is
have your
up.
players jumping in the air. Let's keep the game safe. So we have a change here. Hamilton on, who played so well last game, on for Barkwell.
Touch! Canada.
Early engagement
Second
there by
row's
Canada.
pushing in
Again,
early.
one of those simple mistakes that you drives you nuts if you're coaching the team, that's for sure. Especially packing down against a 7-man Tongan team. 7-man Tongan pack. As we see Morath. It's a free kick, not a penalty, so he can't go to touch. And Pritchard under it well taken, but Tongan
Ball
arrived with
from the
numbers, and
catch.
Canada through Carpenter, ripped the ball out of Pritchard's hands and secure it. But the Tongans drive over the top, and they're coming out with a lot of energy here. That's Piatau. Moa, short ball to Lokatui. To the captain, Nili Latu. He gets through a lot of work in a game. Tireless runner of the ball.
From half of the ball.
Tipoli. Moa to Vea. Just outside the 22. Pick and drive. Moa again, and they're going through their big men, and that's Lokatui again up over the 22. Now they're going to spin it wide through Morath. That's Helu coming off his wing on the far side.
Kick by Canada. Roll 13. Step, please. Thank you.
Tipole again to the 22. These first few minutes of the second half going to be critical if Canada want to keep this game tight. Can't afford an early score like they did in the first half. That was Maasi taking it into contact. The captain again, Nili Latu, the third or fourth time he's taking it already in this first half. Moa to Morath. To Piatau. Spun through the hands, and that's Tipole taking it up. Tonga looking very dangerous already in the second half. Morath in at the scrum half position.
Step back,
Balls
please.
come back on the Canadian side. Spun through to White. There's an overlap here. That's Hirayama. He's a 7 specialist. He steps and he's got lots of speed. He's got Evans with him. He goes to Evans, and Evans has some pace he's got to take on Piakala, and he does, and he's over for a try from inside their own 22. We see the skills of Hirayama, his 7 skills. Evans right there with him, timed the pass, and Evans pinned back his ears and over for a try.
And up until that turnover, Tonga was dominating the play. You see, they've changed the way that they're playing the game, playing tighter, and a turnover by Canada. And we'll watch the replay here, but the speed of Nathan Hirayama has just been electric. Great decision making by the Canadians. Look at them take their chance. They're well in their own. Beautiful spin pass by Hamilton to White to Nathan, and lovely little step off his left foot. And watch the patience. He has players on his outside, Pritchard on his right, Evans on his left. Decides to go to Evans, and look at the speed. Beautiful finish by Canada, and this crowd came alive. And there's a shot of Matt Evans there, the try scorer. He'll need a shot of water.
Couldn't have been a better start to the second half for Canada. We were just talking about the pressure and the momentum that Tonga were coming out with. Turnover ball, they're down 1 man, and turnover is always so dangerous. And I think it was a great play there by Sean White to recognize the space wide when a lot of players would have kicked it, and he spun it through the hands to Hirayama, and he just put his foot on the gas.
The decision making of the Canadians has just been top notch so far.
Richard. And the extra 2 are there, and Canada pushed their lead out to 17 points to 7, and crucially again that's a 2-score lead.
Little shot of the crowd there. Happy with the score by the Canadians.
Score is 16 points to 7. With a restart. One of the number of Tongan players who plays in the Japanese Elite League. Canada secure on the restart. Hirayama through the hands. This time with a step, it's Blevins. 5 minutes short of their half, and over the ball competing is Tonga, but good clear out in the end by Matt Evans. Marshall.
Don't play it, 5.
White to Hirayama. Spins it back wide, a good flick pass there by Duke. Canada got to be careful here. They don't want to make mistakes being too expansive.
No, stop, you're not.
Sean White with a box kick takes it into Tongan territory. Another near side that looks like Helu with it, and it is, and he's spinning through the first and taken to ground by Nick Blevins. Pick up by Piatau. Moa to the big Lokotui. been one of the key carriers of the ball for Tonga so far. He's going to have to put a lot of yards in the second half. The captain, Nili Latu. And that's intercepted now, and there's a drive by Carpenter. He's got people with him, and he gets it on the inside to Hirayama. He passes it to Sean Duke on the far side. And Canada are in with another try from a turnover again. And Sean Duke and Hirayama, two of the stars of the Sevens, really lighting the crowd up here in the second half. And that's Canada 21-7 in the lead now.
And this is a result of Canada's patience and Canada's focus. Watch the Tongans in these breakdowns. It seems like they're a little uncommitted. Perhaps we'll watch the replay here. Tonga having the ball, forcing that kick, and heads-up play by Carps. And look at the gas that he's got. Great speed, good awareness to offload that ball. Hirayama with a one-handed catch, easy for him. And he's made that pass to Sean Duke so many times, and lovely little score. And now everything going right for the Canadians.
And feel the buzz around the crowd with that, and Tonga are going to be careful now they don't get their heads down and Canada plow on the points. Of course, some of the bonus points are really critical in this, and that's 2 tries in the second half. They got to be thinking, can we get to a bonus point for 4 tries? Pritchard perfect so far today with the kicking.
And Tonga needing something to get back into this game. I really do think they need to involve their wingers a little bit more. They do have a firepower out there, but so difficult with this patient Canadian defense that spreads out so well.
And he adds the 2, 23 points to 7. Canada with a 16-point lead. It's more than 2 converted tries. Tonga bringing on some fresh legs. We've got Afu on and Teoni on, I believe.
We look down at the Canadian bench, and none of the boys warming up yet, so Kieran Crowley opting to stay with who he's got now and perhaps wait till a little longer to bring someone in.
So we have Moa is off. And Palu is in at scrum half. And a great box kick down the 5-meter channel there. Inside to Hakalo. Kicks it high. Sean White is under it, and he completely missed that, and Hakalo is there. And luckily for Canada, he stepped over it. And Sean White back to make amends for a missed call. And they're throwing it around from inside their 22.
More!
Canada got to be careful with their confidence level, and
Side entry.
side entry there from John Moonlight, and Canada giving a penalty away inside their 22. They've just scored some points. They needed some a little bit calmer heads there to have just cleared the ball into touch. They were inside their 22, and Tonga have called for the posts.
The opportunity here for Tonga to put some points on the board, and with 14 players, they're going to want to take advantage of any time they can be down in this end.
This would still make it a 13-point lead, but Tonga know that this puts them within 2 scores. Morath had a similar kick to this in the first half that he pushed wide. He was 1 for 2 in his kicking in the first half. And that kick is solidly through for the 3 points. So Tonga, after giving up the second try of the second half here, back with 3 points on the board, and we're 10 minutes into the second half, and it's 23-10. We've seen more points scored now in the second half in the first 10 minutes than we did in the whole first half. I think Tonga may be thinking this is a good thing if Canada want to fling it around and open it up. I think Canada need to get back to their disciplined game plan and play in the Tongan end of the pitch. Hearn with a restart. Taken on the far side by Helu. New man Palu in at scrum half. to Morath.
Not forward. Not forward. Stop. Stop.
Taken by Evans to Pritchard. Pritchard through the hands.
Advantage.
A no-look pass, but Duke has it. And advantage being played. He was warned
card.
several times.
Yellow. Shoulder hit.
More
Go ahead,
undisciplined from the Tongans. It's going to cost them a yellow card now. And you see down on the field, so critical to the Canadians'
Yes.
kicking game, James Pritchard. Emotional leader, and hopefully he's okay.
And that was a
Well,
late
wrong
hit
one.
with the shoulder, which is why it was a yellow card.
Yeah, it's
You've got
just
to
give
use
you the
your
mark.
arms
It's
in a
behind
tackle in rugby.
halfway.
You can't just
It's
do
behind
as they
halfway.
do
You're
in
going to side then.
CFL and the NFL and charge with your head, your shoulder. We'll see it on a replay here as he comes in. Just
So there's no attempt to wrap there, and
Time's off, by the way.
no attempt to
Great
wrap
call.
at all, and it's Piukala who's off. There wasn't too much in it, to be fair, but it's the type of play, and I think JP Doerr, quite rightly, because of the explosive nature of the first half, doesn't want to see this getting out of hand at all.
I'd be surprised if Canada doesn't opt to have a shot. I know they're on the 50 here, but we know Kieran Hearn with a massive boot. What a switch of momentum that would be. Obviously, have another look at that after the play. Not too much in it, as you say. I don't think there was much of a diving performance either. Good call. And as we see Hearn setting up for the kick.
We saw at the tail end of that replay again, though, there was another no-look pass by Canada. It'd be so dangerous. The momentum swings when you see an intercept try happen. I think they need to be a little bit tighter with their play. Let's not go for the expansive extra point here, but keep it tight and if necessary, take it into contact. Certainly has the distance, and it flags her up.
When you talk about the distance, I mean, that ball must have hit the end of the touchline there. Massive kick by Hearn.
So they restore their 16-point lead here, and Tonga down to 13 men temporarily for the next 10 minutes.
The shot of the man from Newfoundland there, Kieran Hearn. And if Canada shows that ability to recycle the ball quickly, they're playing with a massive two-man advantage here.
Morath with a restart, goes deep, White's under it, takes it in and spins it to his captain. And that's Hirayama again with a great step. And another step. He's up to the halfway line. He's looking for some support players. A great run again by Hirayama. A little bit isolated, and the ball's coming out on the Tongan side. And Palu with it, takes it back into traffic. Helu with a pass to Tipole, and now the captain, Ninili Latu. Pakalo spins it onto the near side, through the hands to the big Piatau. Halu again in its scrum half to Morath.
Hold on, no, whoa, stop, medic.
Medic called straight away there by the referee. Something happened very quickly. Usually referees are very quick to the whistle if they see something that may involve an injury to the head or a player calling.
Looks like holding the right knee there. We'll watch the replay, see if we can see it here. Oh, nice little step off the leg, but perhaps that left knee taking a big impact. And you can see him holding it now.
Well, we're on a bit of an injury break here. Rugby Canada can't do what it does without its sponsors, so we want to make sure we do a shout out to the support for this Pacific Nations Cup match, to Lifford Wine and Spirit Agency, to Macquarie, Trafigura and to Cougar. Looked like he turned pretty hard on that knee. Not sure if I caught the number of the player that's down yet.
I'm wondering if that's outside half Kurt Morath playing his rugby in Japan. It's tough to tell there, but being brought up in a big hand of applause from the crowd and from the Canadians.
You can see the left knee there. It's being supported as he comes off the field.
Just back a bit, just back here. Okay, Canada ball, knock on. Canada ball. Second rows, wait for the call. Time back on, please.
So coming onto the pitch is Halefonua. And he's gone into the 15 spot, so it probably Hakalo coming into first receiver. Although at the moment it looks like their captain, Nili Latu, is there, and they're packing down with a 6-man scrum. They're down 2 men, obviously, with a red card and a yellow, so there's space on this far side, and it's in the hands of Pritchard, and he hands it out to Duke. Duke's got lots of pace. Breaks 1, breaks 2, and he's got Pritchard on the far side, and he's in for the try. Canada really opening up a lead here, and celebrations in the end zone there.
Canada taking advantage of their 2-player overlap as we saw Pritchard go in for a lovely try and Sean Duke shake off a few players as we get the replay up here. Lovely little step work, and of course Duke so tall and powerful.
Duke had no business breaking 3 or 4 tackles there, but he accelerates out of the tackle, and you know, so many people don't. He's just phenomenal. As we see, it comes wide. Pritchard there to Duke. He breaks 1, breaks a second, and he's got Pritchard running on his shoulder. He knows he's there. Sean White up with the play as well.
And body posture right now, exact opposites. Tongans heads down, and Canada chests up. As we see Pritchard set up to try and make it perfect on the day. And a round of applause from the crowd for the injured Tongan.
It's nice to see that wherever you go around the world, nobody likes to see someone injured, and there was a standing ovation as he came through the tunnel here. Pritchard adds the extra 2. And Canada out to a pretty commanding lead, 33-10. They're 1 try away from a bonus point, but more importantly, they've got more than a 3-score lead. We're a little more than 25 minutes to go, or in the second half. And that's Halefonua with the restart through the hands, and that's Evans. Evans has already scored 1 try. He's got 2 on his inside, and it's big Bukaboom there. Canada playing this like sevens now, with Nick Blevins 5 meters out. Moonlight up with the play, secures it. Kieran Hearn playing like a flanker with a pick and drive around the corner, and the ball's there again. Flung out by Jeb Sinclair, and Canada lost a few meters, but they're still in possession. They've secured the ball. Referee.
We have an injured player on the field. We'll catch the number here.
Also have a flag on the play here with a touch judge.
That might be Matt Evans, who started this play off. We'll get a replay here. Here's Evans, who made the initial break, offloading the ball. Seeing him taking a nasty shot to the head from the shoulder. And they're down there and they're supporting his neck, and the referee again on the play.
We have the advantage of the replay here. The touch referee calling it. It didn't look like there was a lot of arm motion in that. It was a shoulder check. And I'm not surprised that that's a yellow card.
We can hear the official on the spot telling the captain, you're not changing the way you're playing undisciplined and penalized
The mark
for
is
that.
back.
And
Up
that's
there.
a big Lokatui
So hold on.
with that shoulder charge, and doesn't
Fuzzy
look
basket
like
penalty.
Evans is going to be coming back on. Pat Parfrey's on the field. I think we may even be needing to get a stretcher here. It's a shame. We've seen a few of these, and you see it here again on replay, and just bang with the shoulder right into the head, and he was out.
Vicious hit targeting the head. No need for that. But Canada playing phenomenal rugby regardless. They have opened it up. They're playing all the rugby.
So we see Kieran Hearn coming off, and I know Pat Parfrey is on.
So an exciting moment for
Parfrey. Everyone on the rock will be cheering for him taking the field.
certainly the son of Dr. Pat Parfrey, an incredible ambassador for the game of rugby here in Canada and former coach in the '99 World Cup.
He's about 10 rows below us. Don't think you can hear the announcement as we're talking about it. We're also seeing the big Doug Woolridge coming on. And we also have Liam Underwood coming on as well. So lots of changes here for Canada.
And it's good to see the Canadians staying disciplined. They don't want any part of that high tackling that Tonga has been penalized for. Staying focused, really saying we're here to win the game. Crowd, you can very quiet here. You can hear the sense of concern for Matt Evans, who's had a blinder so far.
Tongans known for their big hits. They do on occasion get a bit undisciplined in doing it. We saw a lot of big hits as well in the Fiji game. It's the way that the game is played.
As we see the Canadians lined up here, wishing the best for their mate, Matt Evans, and talking about staying disciplined, staying focused, finishing this game with a dominant performance that they've shown so far.
We have a stretcher on the field now, and paramedics and the Canadian support team are there. This is a world ranking event as well. Tonga 11th in the world, Canada 13th coming into this game, having just beaten Fiji, who were 14th. It's a really good show by Canada today. I think Tonga have been their own worst enemies, though. They're down to 13 men, actually down to 12 for a couple of minutes, and then they'll be seeing Piukala come back from his yellow card soon.
Well, you watch the Canadians and not only their ability to move the ball, but the strength and the size of them, and really a tribute to the job that the boys have been doing. Of course, having that high-performance center of excellence in Langford, such a crucial part of that training that both the men and women do train at, and a world-class facility there.
As we look forward to the thoughts around who the man of the match may be here. I know we've still got quite a bit of playing time. Who are two of the three people on the Canadian team that stand out for you so far?
Certainly in the forwards, Aaron Carpenter's had a fantastic game, but John Moonlight, I mean, he's been all over the field. He's played a fantastic defensive game, and just amazing skill set, ability to offload the ball, break tackles, and potentially score a try there. He called in front of the play, and in the backs, you could. Everyone's on fire.
Hirayama or Pritchard. Blevins has had some great line breaks. We've seen some fantastic running from Sean Duke. Matt Evans has scored a try. He's coming off the pitch now.
Yeah, I like Matt Evans. I mean, his kicking has been spot on. His ability to attack and create space has been incredible, and his ability to move that ball puts him in that elite player for Canada.
Difficult for the players now they've got to get back into the momentum that they had playing, and we're going to see the game restart with Hirayama kicking for touch. Another excellent kick out of the hand, taking Canada up to about 15 minutes out from the Tongan line.
You can't leave the line out. You cannot leave the line
And look at the
You have to stay in the line out.
fantastic crowd here in Kingston.
Ball must remain with the jumper at the front.
Safely at the back of the line, that's White to Hirayama. Skip pass to Blevins. Takes it into tackle. White looking for quick ball, and
Holding.
straight through straight away was Nili Latu. And he was right there in Canada holding on. As we continue to hear the applause from the crowd as Matt Evans is being taken down the tunnel. Hikalu with the kicking duties now that Morath is off. Both teams unfortunately lost a player to injury. Morath and for Tonga and Evans for Canada. Maasi with the throw to the line. That's Palu to Hakalu. We've got Nili Latu playing in one of the center spots. Hakalu over the ball and it's out with Kawenga. Canada driving over with Moonlight and Carpenter binding together.
Canada off feet.
Going off their feet in the process, and JP Doyle penalizing them
Counter
for
row
it.
completely legal.
Unlucky for
17.
Canada, but again, you have to be disciplined. You have to stay on your feet. We saw Hamilton over top of the ball, which is perfectly fine to play the ball. Good counter ruck, however, off your feet and
Time.
official on the spot to make the right call.
Okay.
Looks like we have Underwood slotting into the fullback spot with Pritchard moving over to the wing. Hakalu holding the ball, waiting for the injured player. JP Doyle walking over. And that's Piatau back on his feet.
Yeah, so many stops and starts to this game, but
Time on, please.
Canadians doing a very good job of refocusing. Next piece, and their set piece has been strong.
So we're coming up to the 60-minute mark. It's 33-10 to Canada. Taoni with the throw to the line. And they went short, back looking for it, but it was knocked on in the process by Taoni when it came back. Taoni plays.
We saw Sean White getting his hands on the ball there, fortunately knocking it on. And there's a shot of the big men who've worked so hard up front.
Crouch!
Great beard on Biden's.
Tonga with a 6-man scrum. The captain, Nili Latu, choosing to not pack down. He's usually plays number 7, one of the loose forwards. He's in the outside center position.
Well, if you're down so many men, you've got to be creative. and
Crouch!
Good for them for trying something different.
They're going to be looking to get the ball in and out pretty quickly here
Touch!
with 6 men.
Set!
Canada with the definite advantage of the shove as it's seen there, but taken by Tipoli off the back. He's had a very good game for Tonga so far.
Use it.
Palu in the hands now of their captain, and that's Helu coming up off his wing. Taoni onto the far side. Canada's defense up so strongly.
Canada off feet.
Canada coming off their feet though, refs playing advantage to that, and we see Taoni again driving up over the halfway line, still with advantage. Hakalo, skip pass through the hands to Piatau, taken down by
Not held.
Hirayama for Canada. That's Palu passing it out to Vea,
Advantage over.
and Taoni now with a drive up over the 10-meter line. Tonga with some possession of the ball. Taken up again, big and strong by Vea, but the ball's knocked out. But
Knock on, strip clear by 6, offside by 8. Strip by 6.
so
offside
as it
by
was
8.
stripped out, Carpenter standing in an offside position there. We see in Tonga with a penalty.
Yeah, Jeb Sinclair showing his strength there, ripping the ball out of the Tongan hand, but in front of the ball was Carpenter, who's just, by nature, you're going to play it.
It's a reflex, isn't it, in that situation?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
He knows better, but you can't stop yourself. Hikalu kicking to touch. He's not a regular
Tonga
kicker out of the
substitution,
hand.
hold
And
on.
here we see Big Tom Dalzal coming on.
Number 2.
So we see Tonga now back to 14 men.
Hold on.
Tonga
Don't
bringing
let him
on
throw again.
replacements.
Sorry, back
18.
to 13 men. They still have a red and 1 yellow. And we have some replacements there, and a good round of applause there for Hugh Biden. with the ball. Their captain has been running hard all day. In the hands of Sakalia to the 22. That's Palu. Ball on the ground, and Iongi was trying to take it.
Any knock on there?
Looked like it was a knock-on, ref asking, but it just rolled into touch, and we've been about 10 minutes yet now without really seeing any rugby being played, and Tonga feeling they're way behind. Canada don't mind the clock being run, and a bunch of stops and starts taken by Moonlight there. Hirayama, skip pass. And
Release 22!
Nick Blevins absolutely leveled perfectly legally there by Piatau. The ball's come out on the far side to Duke. Jumps up out over the 22-meter line. Hamilton over the top of it. Back to Blevins. He got up out of that Piatau tackle quite well, and there's numbers over here. Through the hands of the captain, Carpenter, standing out on the wing. Canada going through the phases to Hirayama. Looking for space, runs into the captain. Nili Latu, but White with it again. Not his best pass, but well picked up. Coming through the hands, back to Carpenter again. He has Bukaboom outside and joins the ruck. Hirayama stepping, looking for a snipe. He was in it scrum half that time. Sean White comes to clear out Moonlight. To Underwood. Had a great game against Fiji, and that was Jeb Sinclair taking it strong. Canada keeping possession. Moonlight with a pick and drive.
Release that. Fine, play on. First man, turn it over.
And it's been turned over by Tonga in the hands of Helu. Well tackled by Pat Parfrey, but Tonga still with possession.
Well, Canada turning that ball over, and we'll see if they want to slow it down, I'm sure. And Canada attacking from their own end, playing with all the confidence. I thought they might look to kick the ball for a bit of territory, as Tonga only had one player back, but it's all hand in ball, and they're playing with all the confidence in the world right now.
And we saw Moonlight getting the taps on the shoulder there for that turnover, and another fantastic kick out of the hand by Hirayama. Taking it all the way up to the 22. We've got the
Time off.
Phil Mack having come on now for Sean White. And we also have Tyler Ardron on. And he's on for Hudson.
13. Hold on, don't enter. Hold on a second. Nathan, who is coming on?
And I think they'd like to
22 is
look
already
to
come on
get
the pitch.
their final sub on Canada, but John Moonlight having such a stormer of a game, I don't know if it's going to happen.
So the only sub not used so far is Nanyak Dalla, who again had a great game.
Hold on, time off.
I don't know how the powers that be are going to decide a player of the match.
We've only got 12 players on there. No, these 12 got sent off. Well,
Nathan.
sent off. For who? About 12 got sent off. No, there's no one.
Hold on, you don't need it. Number 12. There's only 12 on the pitch. Yeah, number 12.
So because there's a red, there's been two yellows, the counting players on the pitch on the Tongan side is a bit confusing.
Gentlemen, that's correct. You're fine. 13,
So Tonga adding a player, the yellow card being over.
So I'm going to ask my partner in crime here, Rob, to count the Tongan players at the next first phase. And Tonga with possession in a step and drive through by Kauanga. Palu to Hikalo. And that was Nili Latu, went through the hands and a knock on. Canada lost it at the line out, and a bit of danger there on the near side. Lucky for them, the Tongans seem to be not at their best today, and another simple mistake.
So Tonga did replace that yellow card, so they're at 13 players at the moment.
Wait for the ball, hit, wait for the ball, then drive.
We're both frantically counting white shirts on the field.
No, I think we're good at 13. So
I
Canada's
think-
still having the advantage here.
I could only see 13, but there we go.
Coach!
And Mac, player of the game in the game against Fiji, with a put into the scrum. Up off the back, Carpenter to Mac. He's a real live wire. Takes it into contact, the ball's available. Canada's got to be careful. Well taken by Sinclair behind him. Driven to the ground. The possession's there, Mac to Hirayama. Wide pass, and that's an intercept try. It's the type of thing that Canada can't be doing. And all the way is Viliami Iongi over for the try.
Well, it looked like a little bit of miscommunication between Blevins, Hariyama, and Paddy Parfrey on the field, and that led to no options but to swing the ball wide. And good job, heads-up play by Tonga. He's really just waiting there for the play. And when you look at his speed, no one's going to catch him.
Canada got to be careful. There's a little more than 10 minutes to play in the game. They've still got a commanding lead, but you know you don't need to give up 7 points for nothing, as was the case there. And with the extra 2, Tonga has pulled himself back into the game somewhat. That's going to not only score some points, but it's going to get their heads up, and it's 33-17 now to Canada. It's still a 16-point lead. They still need to score 3 times, but we can see a try like that took 20 seconds.
Plenty of time left in the game. Canada, the decision making, the intention is still there. Over one too many mistakes.
Hirayama with a restart. Taken in by Kaho. Great strength to drive it up over the 22. Palu to Akalu. Spins it to Nililatu. A little bit of a dummy thrown there, Piatau.
Never release.
Canada not releasing the tackler and giving up a penalty. Got to watch the discipline coming in here. And that's the captain, Nililatu, king for touch. Wanted to do it quickly, didn't want to spend the time to figure out who was going to take that duty.
Time off, please.
Taoni with the throw to the line. Just inside the Canada half.
Yeah, but you captain. You skipper now.
And a round of applause by the crowd as we get a shot of Aaron Carpenter a little nicked up. What a performance he's had on his 50th debut.
What a way to have a 50th cap if the team can close this out for him, and the team's going to want to do it. Standing ovation of the crowd on the near side. Aaron Carpenter, phenomenal leadership this game, and we've got Nanyak Dalla coming on. That's all of the subs on the field now for Canada. Tonga with a ball through Piatau. Dalla straight into the game with a tackle on him, and that's Vainakolo looking to get the ball out of the back, and he does to the try scorer, Iongi, and that's taken there with a mark called by Phil Mack.
Yeah, you can see Philly wanting to slow the game down. Smart little play, and he'll look to move this ball into Hariyama, who looked to clear it.
With Hirayama, no one chasing, he takes his time and punts the ball nicely up over the halfway line. His kicking out of the hand's been great. Other than the one intercept pass, he's had a flawless game today.
In the Fiji game, the subs that came on really had an impact, and Canada is going to need that in the last 10 minutes from all the players. They've let the bench go. They're all on. They're going to need those players to step up and perform.
Tonga calls the short line out. Down a man, that's a smart play. Paolo to the captain at first receiver. And that's the danger man Iongi, who's already scored a try, and he flips it on the inside, and this is Tongan rugby at its best. Hakalo there. Palu to Nili Latu in the hands of Teoni, and he gets it through to Afu. Just one man to beat, and that's Hirayama making a try line save there with 2 meters out.
Rock.
Advantage being played here, and that's going to be a yellow card, and we're going to even it up 14 men apiece.
Canada 20. The ruck is formed with 4 hands in.
And that's Tyler Ardron
Ruck formed.
being yellow carded, and that's going to be his match. Penalty taken with a quick tap to Helu. There's men over there. There's 3 men. Hakalu to Vainakolo. Vainakolo goes himself, and he's over for another try, and that's 14 points with the conversion goes in the last few minutes there for Tonga. We don't want to see a Maple Leafs Boston happening here today.
Well, there's plenty of time left, and Tonga is playing all the rugby. Quick decision making, and they are attacking. And watch the overlap that they had. I'm not sure why Canadian players weren't flooding out, but Tonga heads up play to move that ball. And again, bringing in their wingers who have punctured a little energy into them in the second half.
And that was Vainakolo we saw stepping off his left. Plays his rugby for Connaught. It looks like the captain, number 7, Nili Latu, as we go to the replay here. It's Nili Latu spinning it wide. Hakalo to Vainakolo. Steps off 1, steps off 2. And the captain looking for the conversion. It's the first time, I think, since John Eales for Australia that I've seen a member of the single-digit player taking the conversion attempt. So Tonga, though, with the 5 points on the board.
And I love it. You look down here and you see James Pritchard in the ear of all the boys saying, "Get up, let's finish this for our mate Matt Evans."
We saw this in the Fiji game, the 16th man, the crowd getting behind the team to close this out. Canada did a great job doing that in a really tight game against Fiji, and 14 men apiece. There's some space on the pitch. The ball knocked on in the process.
First was a knockback.
An 11-point game,
First one was a knockback.
33-22.
Time off, please.
5 minutes to play.
As we watch that point of contact, Sinclair just got bumped awkwardly, and he's getting up slowly now. Canada can't afford to lose him, so he shakes it off.
Let's go, Tonga. Time on, please. Time on, bench. Fine, off the body. Canada, you must wait for the ball to enter the scrum.
Scrum with the Tongan put in.
Crouch! Touch! Set!
Palu taken off the back by their captain. And they've got to be careful. That's Vainakolo, the try scorer again. 10 meters out. Tonga on the front foot. They're playing like they want to win now. Pick and drive and through the gap. Tonga coming up to the 22-meter line. Canada have got to get their defense organized. It's coming wide through Piatau. Canada not making their first up tackles for the first time in the game. On the far side, Tonga organized. Through the hands to the big Puafisi. And a forward pass. Canada's got to take a breath, get organized, get back to the game plan.
They seem to be sitting back a little bit on the defensive line. They're in the right positions, but they need to take those first few steps up to make that contact, to take a little bit of time and space away from the Tongans and get energized. You're almost on the verge of a huge win for the team. Finish it off.
Timeout called again from JP Doyle as we've got a player down in the backfield. It's one of the Tongans from the position on the field. It's probably Vainakolo.
You okay, Chief? You done? Okay. Nathan. 7 to go. Nathan, did Tonga have another sub? They're all out. Okay.
So we're listening to the referee's mic there, and player is done, but there's no more subs. And the game of rugby, that's the way it is.
He's gone off, but you don't have anyone
We'll get
left to bring
confirmation
on,
in a
okay?
moment as to who that is coming off.
You've nobody
So
left to
Tonga
bring
down
on.
a man.
Tonga playing with 12 players on the field right now.
Outside.
A scrum to Canada
Outside.
on their own 22-meter line.
I'm being told before.
Apologize, 13 players on the field, but no
Yeah,
subs.
but he's already.
No one to bring in.
Seven. We have to go with the game.
Neely Latu, the captain there, just talking to the ref about whether he can bring somebody on, but he's not allowed to.
Crouch.
Mack with a put into the scrum.
Touch. Set.
Good solid scrum. The ball squirts out the back, and Moonlight picks it up and takes it. Neely Latu
Sorry, Tonga. Off feet. Sub 9.
and Tonga with a quick tap, and that's Piatau 5 meters out. The captain comes up with it, and Halu for the line, and he's over for another try. And that's now 33-27 with a conversion to come. Tongan players rushing back to their side of the pitch.
Yeah, real gutsy stuff from the Tongans, playing with 2 players down and can't do anything wrong here. They've used their blindside and open side wingers to really frustrate the Canadians, and they found that try line 2 times in a row, unanswered tries. And again, such a close game now.
So Hikalu to try and add the extra 2, which would, as we see Piatau there driving to the 5 meter line. And Hikalu there driving over. Hikalu with the kick. And that's missed on the short side. So Canada have a 6-point lead going in towards the last minute of play. Of course, a converted try is 7 points. It really would be heartbreak for Canada with such a great lead that they had, and advantage of extra players if Tonga were to score and convert.
Crowd getting up on their feet here. You can see the boys on the bench saying, finish this one off. They need an injection of energy to close this one out.
Hirayama into the deep for Cahill. And they're spinning it through their captain, and that's Jeb Sinclair taking him to ground out just outside their 22. They have to make every one of their tackles now. Chance of Canada going around the crowd as Teoni steps. And they've been knocked on in the process, and Canada are going to have a scrum.
Well, I wonder about the injury time, how much JP Doyle will allow as we roll into the last minute of regular play here.
It's been a 1-15 effort, in fact a 1-23 effort by both teams, and Canada using all of their subs. As we see a scrum with Phil Mack putting it in.
Touch! Set!
Ball taken out the back by Moonlight to Mack. In the hands of Underwood. He spins through one, and he's taken hard 5 meters out. An upright tackle there. Tonga looking to come through for the ball, and they've given up a penalty. Moonlight thinking about a quick tap, and quite rightly held the ball.
20 off feet, not rolling away.
Got a player down. I believe that's going to be Underwood. He was taken in a very upright position by a tackle that was driving in an upward motion, and this game has had more stoppages in it than I've seen in a long time. As we see this, he breaks through one, and as he comes through, that's a tackle's perfectly good by Piatau. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Well, Liam Underwood, so impressive in the game against Fiji in his first start, and Lovely little move there, and right into contact. Hoping that he's okay as the Canadians set up for what they hope is closing this game out with Pritchard's boot.
So Pritchard with a kick. This would give them a 9-point lead, which would surely secure the game, as we're possibly thinking that this could be the last play of the game. We'll see whether the ref has time on the clock to get a restart. Underwood still down. Crowd goes eerily quiet here in the 80th minute. Richard. And the flags are up. That gives Canada a 9-point lead here. We've got time for a restart, but Tonga have to score twice, and one of them has to be a converted try.
Tonga looking to start this off very quickly as they rush to the line and get this game back underway.
Underwood getting up slowly in the background and trying to get back on field. Well taken by Boom.
Take a step, guard.
Mack
Let go.
running a bit laterally to Duke. Steps once and twice. Mack to Moonlight. He's been driving hard all day up over the 10-meter line. Fantastic game for John Moonlight. And that's in the hands of Pat Parfrey. Taken down hard, just short of his 10-meter line. Underwood there and up over the ball. He's recovered. Richard taken hard.
Advantage, high tackle.
Advantage being played by the ref, and there's a penalty coming for a high tackle. They're checking on the clock. Hirayama,
I think I
I
just saw
believe there was a sign saying 1 minute left, so
Restart the game, please, Ken.
restart the game is what the ref's saying. There's actually 2 minutes to play. So we look at the clock. And a good kick and Canada going to have a throw into the line inside the Tongan half. The Tongan have got to get possession. They've got to score, convert it, restart the game all within 2 minutes. So a big ask for Tonga, but it doesn't take more than 20 seconds for someone to run the length of a football field.
they've done it before twice.
Here we see Hamilton with the throw to the line, taken by Boom. Job one is secure possession, and Canada have done that. Mack at the back.
Don't pull his head, Canada.
Has the ball to Hirayama. Taken on the short side by Blevins. Dahlia driving up over the top, and advantage being played for not releasing.
Assist tackler,
Matt
no
calls
clear
it.
release on the ball.
And we have an opportunity here, the ball being flung to James Pritchard, who's calling for the posts, and in doing so, Tyler Ardron now running back on, his yellow card's over, so Canada back to 15, and it looks like they've got enough time to go for the drive, and so they're playing to the corner, 10 meters out. They're looking for another try.
They are. Their lineup, when they get the ball down and be able to drive that ball, it's been a real strength, and they're going to look for a pushover try if they can, and if not, they're going to move it to the backs and use that extra man advantage, hopefully. We see Pritchard lining up on the far side, maybe even a kick to the far side here.
Ball taken in, not quite as clean as they'd like, but cleaned up at the back by Sinclair. Mack is waiting, he's looking short side, now he's coming near side. Pritchard with an incredible 22 points in the game. And a penalty here now to Tonga.
Let go, 7.
Canada need to keep their discipline. Quick tap taken by Palu to their captain, and he plays it on the inside to Hello. We've seen him go for a try once already. Tonga playing with pride here. They still need to score twice to win the game, but don't tell them it's not important. In the hands of Pau Fisi. And into touch, and the final whistle. Canada 36, Tonga 27. An incredible victory. Canada go 3-0 in the Pacific Nations Cup. The crowd's alive. The Canadian players rush onto the field. couldn't have been a better script for a 50th game for Carpenter. We called the man of the match as John Moonlight. We could have called one of many players. Hirayama had a fantastic game, despite the fact that he threw a intercept pass. Bukaboom was huge, Sinclair was huge. Some of the guys like Evans, who came off injured, Pritchard, only 7 points shy of the record of Reese's 491 points with his kick total today was solid. Just a fantastic game.
It was an emotional, it was a physical game, and you saw the heart and the non-quit of Tonga to bring it within so close after being out for so much. But in the end, the difference, potentially Pritchard's boot with 22 points, steady as a rock, hit every shot that he was asked to hit. And Canada very excited as we saw the final whistle go and the replacements and players on the bench running.
We're going to see a presentation here on behalf of the sponsor for the man of the match, which is Lifford Wine. We could have called a lot of players there. So John Moonlight getting the, as we hear from the announcers and the crowd on their feet with a great round of applause. Moonlight from Pickering, Ontario. This is fifth cap today. Just did a great job, but so did the entire Canadian team. You know, Sean White was great. Hirayama, we can't say enough about all of these guys. We're going to throw it down now.
Aaron,
to the
pretty
captain,
exciting victory on your 50th
Carpenter.
cap. Tell me how you're feeling right now.
Well, it was a little closer than I would have liked it to be. My heart stopped a couple times on the sideline over there when they started playing really well. Scored a couple tries late in the game. I think we ran out of gas a little bit, and some of our structures went to the wayside when some of our subs came in. But we gutted it out, and big victory in the end, and it'll be a great way to remember my 50th cap.
33 points in the second half. What was said at halftime?
We just came out and said we really have these guys, and we have an opportunity because they went down a man in that early half, and we thought we battled well. We just let them in the game too much, kicking away too much ball, so we decided just to hold on to it and go through our phases, and that really led to some good opportunities for us.
Aaron, congratulations on the victory and your 50th cap.
Thank you very much, Brad.
We're going to stay down on the field now with the, as we're looking at the graphic here of the final score, 36-27. We're going to go down to Neely Latu, the Tongan captain.
Pretty exciting finish to this one here in Kingston. What can you say about your team's effort?
First of all, I'd like to thank the Heavenly Father for blessing us today. It's one of those games that, we just can't afford to give away penalties, and I think our discipline let us down today. So, really disappointing that we lost, but we showed a lot of fight. We wanted this game so much, so a lot of confidence. We still got 2 more games, so we're going to look forward to taking on America and finishing off with Fiji.
2 big games left in the PNC. What are some of the things that you're going to have to work on?
I think our discipline. We just cannot afford to get men sent off and sin bin. So that's one thing we're going to work on. But a lot of belief and a lot of good work done today, but just not good enough.
Thank you very much. All the rest and the best of the tournament.
We were listening there to Neely Latu, the captain. He's a great statesman for rugby. And I think he's right. It was their discipline. Canada played a great game. They maybe let Tonga back into it too much in the second half. You heard Aaron Carpenter say his heart was bumping. We look at the Pacific Nations Cup standing. That looks absolutely beautiful. Three games, 3 wins on top. And they've got just Japan to play, who are 0-2 at the moment. Tonga are going to take on the US and then Fiji to close it out. Canada have a fantastic chance, first time in the Pacific Nations Cup, to win.
Wouldn't that be incredible? First time in the Pacific Nations Cup, and a win would be fantastic for Rugby Canada as we see the players going around as they traditionally do around the field, thanking the fans that showed up on a wonderful game of rugby here at Richardson Stadium.
So it's been a fantastic game of rugby here in Kingston, Ontario, as the crowd is exiting the field and Canada is doing a lap around in appreciation. So You've been watching Pacific Nations Cup Rugby, Canada over Tonga in a battle to the end.
Messieurs, qui connaîtra sa 50